one more thing here before we get started. I want to just check one more thing here before we get started. Okay, looks good. Okay. Okay, so um, today I'm gonna make a handbag, uh, and using a store-bought pattern. I already have my pattern pieces cut out of cardboard, so that's already set up to go. And it's gonna be I got this really fun Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fabric, so I was gonna make a bag out of this because who doesn't like TMNT? And so that, yeah, this is gonna be for the outside and for the handles as well. Well, I'm gonna make this for the handles too. And then I'm gonna be using black canvas for the lining. Well, I could. There's a couple of ways I can do this. I can make black handles and then a black bottom, and then this is like the main fabric, or we can just do everything all Ninja Turtles, like the handles Ninja Turtles, everything Ninja Turtles. Um, I think though, what I like to do. Let me move that down, just like that. There we go. Okay. Um, we'll do all Ninja Turtles. I think that's a good idea. You know what? No. No, let's not. I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna do black on. We're gonna do black bottom, black handles, and turtles the main. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is I'm not. I know it's the title says let's sew, but we're actually not even really gonna be doing any sewing right now. It's a lot of tracing and cutting. So that's what is gonna go down now. So first I need the main body of my bag here. So no, not that one. We're gonna use. Is it this one? Yeah, it is this one actually. Oh no no, this one here. This one here we're gonna use. Okay. Let me just bring this here. Make sure everything looks savvy. Okay, so we're gonna cut the main bit of our bag here for Ninja Turtles. And I made notes on the pattern so it's easy for me to remember where everything goes. So, we're gonna have to cut this. The grain line needs to be downwards. So, where's the grain line? Let me find the grain line. Okay, so this is the selvage. And you know what the selvage is because, usually that's where, like, it's, like, manufactured. The manufacturer, whoever made the fabric, their name will be there. Or you can just tell it looks, like, really nice and even. Like, there's no, like, it won't unravel here. And then this is the grain, which is actually the end of the threads, because the thread is actually going down this way. So that's how you know that's the grain line, which way the main thread's going. So like, see if this was made on in the manner, in like the textile warehouse or wherever it was made, they were weaving it this way, you see? So this was the sides, and it was being weaved downwards, or upwards, or however you want to call it, downwards. So then we know that this is the grain line, and the grain line is going to be downwards, so we're going to keep our fabric downwards from the pattern. Like, this is the top, so the grain line is going to be below. So we're going to go ahead and fold it on the line here. Let's do it this way, actually. So yeah, this is cool. We'll do it this way. Make it nice and folded here. I could have ironed this before. I already washed the fabric. It's been folded in my closet though, which is why it's so... Actually, I don't know why it's not wrinkly, but that's okay because I'm going to iron it again anyway. Is it nice and folded? Okay. Now let's make sure that this fits. It's pretty good. Actually, I kind of want to save some of the fabric here. Let's move it this way. Alright. That'll do. That's fine. Okay. So now we're going to lay down our pattern. So this is the center fold here, so it makes it easier. You only have to trace one side of it. And let's see. We'll use my this is water erasable marking pen. So this works out great because if you have any exposed lines, it just comes off with water really quick. So we're gonna trace this. I can trace it or I can cut it. I mean, sometimes I trace it and sometimes I'll just like put a weight down and just go for it. I'm trying to think, maybe I could just do that once I screw the tracing. It just depends, like, how I feel about what I want to do. But, maybe we will just start cutting, why not? It's just a straight line, you know? So, move that down a bit. Okay. But, you know, it's really, I mean, it's best to trace it because as much as I've realized that it really comes down to the pattern. Like, if you do the right measurements and everything, like, whatever you're making, it's going to turn out, it's going to be easier to sew together. Like, because, you know, they measure, when people make patterns, obviously, they measure and do all the dimensions, so it does, like, match up perfectly, and that's why you really should, like, make sure that you cut it correctly, because if you cut it off and it's the wrong size, it just makes it harder to attach it. Um, but, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and do this one, since I already started. I'll just go ahead and finish this like this. I suppose. Oh, let me move that. Get some weight down. Next time I'll... No, this is fine, yeah. Okay. Okay, I'm regretting that. Not just, There we go. Tracing it. And next time I'll make sure I pull this table further out so I can actually go on both sides of the table and you can still see it. That will make it easier for me to maneuver around. Okay, so we got that. There's that. So we have the first one. I'm just curious, I want to make sure that it is kind of even. So that's one side of our bag. Let's move that. Like oh, I forgot. I decided that I wanted to do the bottom black, and I already made the bottom here. That's okay. We'll just make the bottom Ninja the same as the back. That's fine. We'll just do it that way. And I'll still make the handles black, so there's kind of like a nice contrast, green and black there. Okay, so that's one, and then we're just gonna do it again because we need two of these. This will be one of the sides of the bag. So I'm just gonna put that to the side for now, and then I'll iron it. So let's do this again. We're gonna make another piece for our other side. Okay. Make sure our grain line is down at the bottom here. Okay, so that's not looking good. Let me get our guy here again. Let's trace it. I think this time I'm going to trace it. Let's see. I think, should I just do it right there? Like that? That looks good. Okay. You know, this is blue. I can get a deeper color. Let me see. You know, what should I? You know, that's alright. Actually, yeah, let me get another, because I can't really see this. If I did it on the inside, you could. Let's just keep moving on. Let's just do it. It's like barely there, but it's enough that I can get the idea where the line is. Okay. I'm just gonna cut it. Let's do this. For the other side of our bag. And then this one, we are gonna want the zipper opening for one of them, to the front. So this will be the front. I believe we'll make this our front of the bag. Okay, there we go. Put some more weight on that. Quick fit. Okay, let's see. We don't need to trace anything. No, it would have been better if I actually folded this with the outside, with the inside, with the wrong side showing, because then that way it would have been easier for me to trace it and see it, but I just got started, so that's alright. Okay, there's that. Okay. We got this. Oh, you can't even see I'm cutting it. I didn't realize. Here, let me move it down a bit. Actually, I'll cut it and I'll make sure to bring it down further so you can actually see what I'm doing. I mean, I'm just cutting it, obviously, but I'll make sure to move it down further next time. I think we got it. Ooh, okay. So, let me move that away real quick. So, that's the other side of our bag. Let me move this down a bit. I do wanna make this marking though, because this is gonna be for the front zipper of the bag. This is gonna be where the zipper will open and close right here. Ah, this is not what I like. Let me get a marker here. 1 second. Okay, so we have a marker. This will be a little bit better. I can actually see the lines. Oh, that's great. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So then that's done. Okay, so now we have, this will be the front of our bag. This is going to be the back of our bag. Okay. So now, I mean, there's still more pieces I have to cut, obviously, but this is the main part of our bag. So the next thing that we're gonna cut So I think the next thing we'll do is we're going to go ahead and cut the top of the bag. So I'll move these to the side for now. Let me move this out of the way. So we're going to cut the top. So we have the top here. I have my pattern ready made. Okay. So um, so ideally, let's look at the pattern because the pattern will show me where the grain line is to be because I have made note of it. So I have the arrow pointing down this way, so we know that the grain line is going to be parallel, or excuse me, not parallel, but, well, this is the grain line, the grain line's going this way, downwards. So, grain line down, so we're going to make sure we put that down. So this will be the top of the bag, and this is Michelangelo, no, this is, I forget the orange Ninja Turtle, which is the orange Ninja Turtle? I can't believe I'm forgetting now. This is this is Donatello, this is Michelangelo. No, this is Leonardo, this is Michelangelo. No, this is Michelangelo. The orange one's Michelangelo. I don't know if I want Michelangelo as my top guy for the top, but it looks like he's running this way, and I don't have enough space down here. I only got a yard of this fabric, so that's okay. We'll do it this way here. All right, so that's going to be the top of our bag. Cool. So now let's put a little weight on it so I can it stays sweet. Okay, I think that's all right. I was just making sure it's straight. So we're gonna go ahead and trace this. So we're getting here to the tracing the top of the bag here. Okay. Oh, and then also we want to get the middle. This is where our opening zipper will be. A lot of tracing, a lot of cutting before we get to any sewing, but I don't have to cut everything out before I start sewing, but I'll see. I'm just getting the main parts made or cut of the bag. We already got the two sides of our bag. Okay. Okay. Right there. Okay. Oh, it's hard to see this line. Where is it? Oh my goodness. Let me see what I did here. Right after that. Okay, I'm just gonna cut the thing. Let's do it. Ooh. Okay. There's our top of the bag. Let me see. It's actually a little bit bigger than the actual pattern piece, but that'll do. Okay, so then that's the top. This will be the top opening here. Zip. We'll put a zipper there. I just want to make sure this is even. Let me double check here. So from here to here, it's 2 inches and a quarter. 2 inches and a quarter. Okay. That's actually not, it's a little bit bigger actually. Both of these sides. Yeah, because that's okay. We'll cut it down. Okay, so then that's the top of our bag. And then we're actually going to be cutting interfacing for, we're going to be cutting the lining and interfacing of the exact same, of these exact same patterns for the inside. So, okay, so there we have that. Get that out of the way. So we got our tops here. I kind of want to iron these right now. I think I am going to iron them. I feel like ironing them. Because, I mean, I'm going to have to iron them eventually. So, I'm going to step over here to my ironing board. Move the other stuff out of the way here. So yeah, I already washed the fabric. I washed it already. It's been washed. Gonna get this nice. So I think the next thing that I'm gonna cut will be the pocket for the outside and the handles. Yeah, because that's it for the Ninja Turtles fabric. We are done with cutting. We're not going to be cutting any more out of that fabric. The rest is going to be black canvas for the lining and as well as the handles. So this is pretty much it for the Ninja Turtles fabric. We're not going to be cutting any more pieces with it because we have all the pieces we need. So this is the one of them here. It'll be ironed again when I add the interfacing to it. So this is just a quick iron, real quick here. Yeah, this particular pattern calls for well, it suggests cotton for the fabric that you use for the outside. But I mean, I would like to make this bag with a thicker fabric. Would be cool. Because I like bags to be sturdy, and I noticed that when I make them like with all cotton and I don't really use canvas, it's not very sturdy, the bag. But so there's our other one. Let's iron the top here. Get a nice iron on. So you know what? I said I wasn't going to use any more Ninja Turtle fabric, but now that I'm thinking about it, well, what I might want to do is actually make some of the pockets on the inside with the fabric, so it's kind of fun. Like, you know, like you open it and it's like the pockets are the same same print as the outside, so that'd be kind of cool. So that's something that I will do actually. I like that idea. So we have both of our sides, our top of the bag. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut interfacing for these guys. Put these to the side. Oh, here, let me fix this. Okay, so, oh, whoops. So yeah, I'm going to just cut the interfacing. Let me turn the iron off. So I don't have any more fleece interfacing. But that's okay because at the, well, right now, the two pieces for the outside of the bag, the two sides of the bag that I just cut, they call for a regular fusible interfacing, which is this. It just it's called fusible because you can iron it on. And if you buy like the non-fusible interfacing, you have to sew it on. But this just makes it easier to iron it if you have an iron. And so the two outsides of the bag call for this interface kind of interfacing, but the lining calls for fleece interfacing, which I have some. Like here, I have some right here. I could show you, but I don't believe I have enough. So this is regular like fusible interfacing, and then this is like, well, it's similar to fleece. This was the closest that they had. They actually, the gentleman that helped me, he was like, this is what we have closest to the fleece interfacing, but this is iron-on as well. I don't even know if you can tell the difference. This is kind of more like, almost somewhat kind of like cheesecloth. Like, not quite, but sort of, I would compare it to that. And then this is, less, holy, if that makes sense. This is sad, you can just tell. So, we're gonna put the mix in the interfacing pieces for the outside, so the sides of our bags to make it nice and sturdy. Uh, so let me get this back here. And it's looking pretty good. Move it over a little bit more. Okay, that looks pretty good. So let's trace it. Oops. Okay. Oh, and then this will be for the front of the bag. So we will make the zipper hole. Okay. Oh, oh, yikes. I totally just, let me see, is this still inky? Okay, I may have hurt my pen, but that's okay. Alright, so, put a little weight on this. Ooh, my goodness. That was really bad. Here, let me do it from this way, maybe? Yeah, next time I'm gonna make sure I'm able to walk. You can see what I'm doing, and I'm also able to walk around the table. This is kind of hard to cut it like that. Okay. That's a little higher than I wanted it to be. That's okay. We'll deal with it. Because I'm pretty sure the trace wasn't, like, perfect anyway. I mean, you really should make your patterns the right size, like I was saying earlier, to make sure that when you actually are sewing them together, it's easy and it fits perfectly and there's no shortage of fabric and you can't connect something because it's not long enough or whatever. Alright, I'm just gonna wing this one here. Just do it. Okay, so that's one of the pieces of interfacing for one of our bags, or one of the sides of our bag. This will be from the front. So that will be ironed on. And we have two sides, so we need another piece of interfacing. This is actually going to be kind of cool. It's the first time I'm like recording it or like streaming this, and also like keeping track of how long it actually takes me to make a bag, because I've used this pattern before, and I've made, I think, like 4 other bags. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I've made 4 other bags, but I don't ever really know how long it takes me to make each one, so it's gonna be kind of cool to like see. Oh man. Okay, let me see. Where's my interface? Where's the side I can use? So that's like all scrap there. So we'll use this right here. Okay. If I don't have enough, yeah, I don't even have enough fusible fleece, or excuse me, fleece interfacing, but I could probably still use this, because that's what I did for one of the bags before, and it kind of worked out just fine. Okay, so this will be for the back of the bag, so we don't have to trace this guy, just trace around it. So let's put some weight down on there. Okay, almost got the second piece cut out here. Okay. Boom. Okay, so that's the second piece we got. Okay. And I mean, there's a couple of things I can do now. Let's see. Something's stuck on my foot. So let's go ahead. I think what we'll do is I kind of just want to sew these, or not sew them, but do the iron these together, like this, just like this here. Yeah. So we iron it. What's gonna happen is this is gonna be ironed together. Fuse these together, and then oof, I don't like this. It's not. I don't like this. It needs to be even like that. See, this is what happens when you don't trace your patterns. It's not quite adding up, but that's okay, because once it's sewed, this is gonna be sewed like half an inch in, so it'll be okay. It'll all catch. Um, Okay, so I think I'll iron this right now. Um, Ironing is, you know, not too exciting to watch, but I'm gonna step over here. Here, I'll lay out my pieces. What we got? We got our side here. We got our top here, interfacing. Gonna come over here and iron this on. This is gonna make, again, this is gonna make the bag sturdier. Uh, let's see. I want to make sure before I iron it that it's even the way I need it to be. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and actually let me move this up a little bit. So now I'm just going to get my iron, press it. Oh, so when you're adding the interfacing, you can't really tell on the camera because it's very bad quality, but there's one side of the interfacing that's shiny. This is the shiny side. I don't even know if you can tell. Maybe you can kind of tell it's shiny. And then this is the side it's not shiny. But the shiny side is the side where the stickiness is like when you iron it, the heat. So just make sure that the shiny side is laying face down on the wrong side of your fabric when using the interfacing. I'm just going to add some heat to this to make it connect and fuse together. You really want to make sure there's no air bubbles because you'll be able to tell later on, like, if you, like, connect the bag and then, like, the interfacing on the inside's not, like, totally connected, you'll see, like, a little wrinkle, you could tell, and it doesn't look that great, but, so yeah, you just want to make sure that it is connecting and there's no air bubbles, because once you, connect the pieces and all that good stuff, makes it a lot harder to iron to be connecting the interfacing. It's like not really possible. I mean, yeah, it's difficult to. And you do want to cut out your interfacing pieces. What I did before is I would just lay down my fabric piece that I already had cut, like this top, right? I would just lay it down on a full piece of interfacing and just iron it on. And then once it was ironed on, I would cut around it, right? Instead of actually cutting the pieces. Um, but I realized if you do that, it makes it like really hard to actually, like, this interfacing will attach really easily to like any other fabric. So, you know, having a big huge piece of interfacing that you're ironing, if you know you accidentally iron over a piece that's not on top of the fabric, it will just connect to whatever fabric's underneath, and it kind of like ruins it a little bit. Like if you look at my ironing board right now, you can see that that's what happened, what I did, and there's like some interfacing that's kind of still like glued on a little bit. Like I got most of it off, but just want to make sure you do cut the pieces of the interfacing instead of being lazy about it and just ironing on a big piece and then cutting around it. So every one of my pieces will actually have interfacing on it. So for every piece I'm cutting another duplicate piece out of interfacing. Oh, see? Look at there's a little piece of something caught right here. What is that? Ah, thread. Yeah, and make sure you don't get any bits or pieces stuck between the interfacing and the fabric. I mean, it's okay if you do, but sometimes if it's like a big bulky piece of thread or string or something, you know, whatever, it'll, like, you'll be able to see it through, like a bump. So, I'm gonna make sure you get that out of there. I will definitely be ironing over this again. Um, so after I'm done fusing this, what is actually going to happen is I am supposed to sew around it, and make sure, basically sew around the perimeter of this piece and the interfacing to kind of fuse it some more with thread to make it more sturdier. Um, so that's what the next step it would be for this piece. And then after that, I will go ahead and reinforce these corners here at the top. But that's that. I'm going to have to iron this more. I feel like I'm definitely going to have to iron this more. But for now, so we have this connected. Our interfacing's on this side. Oops, can you even see? Our interfacing's on this side. Fabric's on this side. I'll have to iron this more. This is not here. I want to actually iron it more. Let's just iron it more on this side this time. Oh yeah, when you're ironing, you actually do want to have you want to be ironing on the interfacing side because you want the heat to be applied to the interfacing and not necessarily the heat, you know, applied to the fabric because that'll make it for easier fusing. But I just am turning it over and ironing it this way to make sure there's no air bubbles or wrinkles. You know, iron on both sides, but you want to start on the interfacing side. Ah, you see, look at there's an air bubble there. That's not good. Ooh, it's hot. It is an iron. It's gonna be hot. Okay. Definitely gonna get more iron on with our iron. So for that, we'll put that down for now. You see I have some extra interfacing kind of peeking through here. If I had measured it correctly, that shouldn't be happening, but that's okay because it can always be trimmed. It's not a big deal. We'll see if it becomes a big deal later. It shouldn't, but it should be just fine. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to iron this more, but for now we'll put that there. Let's iron the other one. So this is gonna be our front, because this is where our zipper is gonna go. So let's bring it back over here. Measure this up. Get our interfacing on this one. Shiny side down on top here. That's looking. These two pieces are evening up way better. This is looking good here. Yeah, this is nice here. Alright, so let's go ahead, iron. Get some heat. Bring the heat! So I think we'll iron a little more here, iron. And yeah, I'll just see what's up. I don't know. There's a couple of things. I mean, you know, I can go in any order I want in terms of making the pieces for the bag. So we'll see if I want to cut the interfacing for the top first or next, or sew these pieces on, or sew the interfacing and the sides on together. And then I can bust out the machine and get the camera up close so you can see some sew in action. Because I know it says let's sew, but I actually haven't even sewed anything yet. But there's steps you gotta do beforehand. Now that I think about it, I don't believe I have any zippers. I think I used my last 2 zippers, but that's okay because there's no way I'm going to be finishing this bag in one stream. I'll go for some hours, obviously, but I'll have to go out and get zippers. So won't be connecting any zippers today. I don't have any to connect, but that's okay because there's lots to do before you even need it. Connect any zipper, but I will need to get some. I think I want to get a green zipper. So I'll see if I can find one so it kind of matches the green Ninja Turtles. But yeah, our handles are going to be black, and our tabs on the side, our zipper tabs on the side will be black too. But then I think I want the zippers to be green. We'll see. I'll see what they have. Sometimes when I go to the shop, they don't even have the sizes I need or the colors that I need. So I'll see what they have. So I'm still ironing this bit on. This is the front of the bag. Yeah, and this pattern, I just bought this pattern. It's store-bought pattern. It's not my own. I still haven't really tried to make my own patterns. I don't have all the tools anyway, like the measuring tools, but I'm not so great with numbers. But I'm pretty sure if I actually tried to make my own patterns, it wouldn't be that hard. But like measurements and all that crap, I'll have to see. But this isn't the only bag pattern that I have. I just got some other ones that I'm excited about to try out. I haven't even opened the package yet. Check it out, but yeah, I was looking for a good pattern for a duffel bag because I really want to do make duffel bags. And I found this really awesome Vogue pattern that has a duffel bag, and it's an old school one. It's like out of print now, so I'm stoked to make that one and see how it turns out. Because I like duffel bags. I really like duffel bags. This bag is more of like, I would say that this is like an overnight bag, kind of like, or like a carry-on bag. Like if you're gonna hit the airport or something, you can use this bag as your carry-on. You can fit a good amount of stuff in this size bag that we're making here. So I got the interface on this one pretty well. We fused it on there pretty well. Make sure there's no air bubbles on it. You don't want any air bubbles. Again, makes it doesn't look too hot when there is. So I think, okay, so we have that one there. That one's there. This one, I really want to iron a little more. I really feel like ironing this one some more. Here, maybe. I don't want to rush it and it turns out bad, you know? Like, I'm anxious to go on, but I don't want it to be, you know, Mickey Mouse half-assed. Like, I don't want it to look boathy or anything. So, let me just make sure this is fused on properly for both of them. Okay. So, okay, this one we're gonna sew this one expo show. Alright. So we got that one there. Now let's go ahead and sew this one. Or not sew, excuse me. And iron this one a little more. Maybe next time what I'll do is I won't stream all of the cutting and the sewing, or excuse me, I won't stream all of the cutting and the ironing. I'll just stream the sewing bit. But this way I'm actually able to stream longer because this takes time to iron and cut. So just gives me an excuse to have more time running. But I know ironing is not the most exciting thing to watch, but it needs to be done. It's part of the process for this bag, so can't really do anything about that. Gotta just get it done. Okay, so that's looking pretty okay. We got our interfacing connected to both sides of our bag here, our Ninja Turtles bag. So interfacing on the wrong side of the fabric, we ironed it on. So we're gonna actually have to do the same with this. We're gonna have to cut a piece of interfacing for the top of our bag. So I'm gonna move these and we're gonna go ahead and do that. I'm gonna cut a piece, move these over here. Oh, there we go. Okay. So let's get some interfacing for our top. Struggling here, but we got it. We're gonna do it. Let me see, should I have it this way? Well, first it would help if I had the pattern. So here we have the pattern, our top pattern. I like to utilize as much scraps as I can. So if I can fit it somewhere on this, I will. On the corner here. It's not going to actually fit here. I'm just going to cut this excess off and we'll use it later for something, a smaller piece. Yeah, it would have been better to leave it this way. It's just, it makes it harder for me to cut, but that's what I have to do with this. So it actually fits completely. Okay, so now let's go ahead and trace. Be patient this time. I'm not gonna cut it like I was earlier. I'll just trace it and then cut it. Oh, let me shut off my iron. I don't want that running for no reason. And I'm using a water erasable marker pen. This is like, it was advertised as a quilting pen if you quilt to cut your pieces. This isn't heavy enough, so let's get something heavier so it doesn't move. Okay. Ah, draw this line again. Okay. Oh, I didn't even realize this is hanging off. Okay, so that's not going to do. So a bit further down, just trace it again. Nothing I can do about that, but trace it again. But this interfacing, it doesn't matter if there's lines on it because it's going to be ironed on, and it's going to be between the fabric and the lining, so you won't even see it anyway. It's just for bulkiness to make it sturdier. So if you have markings on it, it doesn't matter. It's going to be covered anyway. So. Okay. So let's trace it again because we were off. I know you can't see the lines, but it's very light blue line. Lines that I'm making. Whoops. Hello. Okay. Now let's do the zipper on the inside. We're going to need to know where that is. And this is, yeah, the top of the zipper bag. It's going to be the main opening of the bag. Okay. Got that drawn. So now we're going to cut it. Oh man, you really can't see. It's really bright, but that's okay. You don't need to see the lines, but it'll take shape in a moment once I get this cut. I'm gonna cut this one right here. Boom. Oops. Get caught. Okay, so it's taking shape. We're getting there. And there you go. That's the top. For our interfacing, we're gonna go ahead and iron that on as well because it needs to be done. So let's just do it. Let's just get it iron on. So this would normally be the fusible interfacing, but I don't have any, or excuse me, not fusible. Well, this is fusible interfacing, but the top calls for fleece interfacing, which, as I said before, it's this stuff right here. It kind of reminds me of cheesecloth a little bit, but I actually don't have enough. But this will still do. It'll be fine because it'll still make it a little bit sturdier. But let's iron it on. Gonna head over to my iron over here. Turn it on. Gonna move these pieces. Our tops. Or not our tops, excuse me. These are our sides of the bag. You see this air bubble here? I don't know if you can tell, but we'll have to iron that again. A lot of ironing, a lot of ironing. Okay, so let's get this piece over here though. So right side down for the main fabric. As I said, clear side of the interfacing down on facing the wrong side of the top fabric. Shiny side. Okay, let's measure it up. Looking good. Cool. That's looking good. Let's iron it. Fuse these pieces together. So we pretty much have the entirety of the outside. We have our two sides of the bag, our bottom of the bag, which is actually, this is actually the bottom of our bag, this section of this piece. This is the bottom, because we will be folding this in. These will be folded in. So we pretty much have the entirety of our bag already cut. Just now, really, what we're going to be cutting is the lining, the pockets, the inside pockets, the outside pocket, and the handles of the bag, and the tabs, the zipper tabs. But it's gonna be cool when it starts taking shape. This is still early days right now, but once it's all connected and starts taking shape, it's exciting. It's exciting for me. I like woohoo! I get excited when it actually starts looking more and more like a bag, like a purse. I'm curious to see how far I will get. This is like the first time I'm actually like making a bag, like just going like full through. Like usually I'll step away and take breaks or like go eat or but I was like, you know what, since I'm streaming, I don't want to just walk away. So it gives me an excuse to stay focused on the bag and work on it for longer periods of time at once. Then because the first bag I made with this pattern, I didn't finish it for like a year. To be honest, I would put it down and then I would come back to it. It was just kind of like a side project I was working on, but when I finally finished it, I was like, oh, this is dope. I want to make more bags like with this pattern. So this will be the fifth bag I'm making with this pattern. So I'm excited to see how the quality is, because I feel like each bag I've made, it's gotten better and better, as it should, right? You would think the more you do something, the better you get at it. So I'm really interested and curious to see this one. The last bag I did, it turned out pretty well. I like it. It's hanging right there in the closet. It's on my Etsy page if you want to take a look at it. There's more photos there. And there's more photos on my photo bucket too, which there's a link on my Etsy page on the listing. If you want to take a look at more photos of it. Yeah, it turned out pretty well. That one was cool. I'm more excited about this one now because this is the one we're working on right now. So I got the interfacing on pretty well. Now I'm just gonna iron the front of the top here. Make sure there's no air bubbles. Yeah. Let me get a sip here real quick. Okay. So that's looking pretty good. That's the top here, with our interfacing connected. So the next thing I would like to do, I think maybe we can sew these. Let's just sew them. Let's sew this guy. Oh, you see, I didn't fuse this all the way. You see, it's coming off here. I need to iron that more. But let's just iron these two bits And I'll iron one, and then once it's ironed on nicely, what I'll do is I'll bust out the sewing machine so we can sew them together to make them more sturdier, or to make it sturdier. Move that to the side, move this to the side. So I use a Kenmore sewing machine. Single needle, nothing too extravagant or special. Maybe I can move the camera to get it a little bit closer so you can actually see what I'm doing. But for now, let me just really quickly iron this here before. I just want to make sure there's no air bubbles. I want to make sure that it's connected and fused perfectly, because once I sew it and there's an air bubble, I really can't fix it unless I unravel and rip out the seams. So I want to make sure that it's connected. So I'm gonna have to iron it some more. So I'm gonna do that right now before I thread the machine and everything, because I really don't want there to be any air bubbles. It won't look good if there is. Yeah, because if I sew it, there's no turning back. Well, I mean, I can just rip the seams, but we want to try to avoid that, because that just not only ruins the fabric, but it just is it's time consuming, it takes more time if you have to redo things. Yeah, I don't want to be wasting any time here. I mean, it happens, I'd rather unravel something. If it looks bad, like, I would rather unravel it and just rip the seams and do it all over again, like, obviously. But, if you do it right the first time, you don't have to do it again. As the old saying goes. But no, if it looks bad, I will do it again, redo it. That's just like pet peeve. I'm just like, doesn't look good. See, but when that happens, sometimes I'm just like, oh, I'm discouraged. Let me take a break. I just like ruined it. Like, I'll rip the seams later. So yeah, do it right the first time, and don't end up feeling that way. Like, ugh. Okay. I think it's looking better. Let me see if this is connected now. Oh, it really wants me to like put the heat on it. So we're gonna need some green thread. Um, Let me see what I have. On my thread, I have my thread here. Let me grab it. I have more, but oh wait, that's the wrong one. I have a couple. Oh, look at this. Look at right on top. This is beautiful. This will do. Okay, so we're gonna use this guy. This is kind of a nice green too. A little bit darker green. I'm just gonna get out what I have. Um, got another green. Oh, here we go. So I found a bobbin that looks like it's already loaded with the green that I need. It looks like it's this green. These matching? Yeah, these are the same. So I'm going to use this green since I already have a bobbin loaded. So this is a single needle. Oh shit. You see this? Leaving my iron on the fabric. Now it's definitely fused on now. That's not coming off at all. It's really fused. Okay. That's looking good. I feel good about it. I think this is fused on. If I sew it, it won't look boonty. I'm gonna pin it before I sew it. I'll pin the sides just to make sure the interfacing doesn't flip or anything. But let me put that there for now. So let me see if I can get this camera maybe a little bit closer to what I'm working on here. What I'll probably do is I'll just show you right now. So this is my machine. Yeah, that's pretty bad. What would be the best way to do this? Let me see. I don't know. Is that okay? Because we're actually, let me get this closed. How's that? Okay, so I'm going to thread my machine with the green that we're using. We're going to use this is polyester thread, so we're going to use that. And then I found a bobbin that's actually already loaded on with the polyester, same polyester green thread, so we're going to use that as well. So I won't show you how to thread a bobbin because I don't need to if this one already is. Or not threaded, but I guess loaded. Load a bobbin. It's already loaded with thread, so we don't need to. So I'm going to just remove this. I had black thread on here earlier. It was for something else I was working on. So I'm just going to get rid of that. And then I have some threads, black thread down here as well. I'll get rid of that. Okay. Move this down. You can see it a little bit. Oh yeah, you can't really see. That's okay. What I'll do is I'll bring the camera closer once I'm actually. Okay, so really simple. The top thread here, which is our bigger spool, this one, he's going to be loaded onto this top right here, this guy. I'm not making this easy, am I? Here, let me back it up. There we go. Okay. Okay, so this guy's going to be loaded onto here. Load, put that on. And then, I don't know if you can see what I'm working on here. So the thread, the main spool goes here. If I can make this easier, you can see it. Let me move it this way. Okay, so, boom. So the top, the main spool goes right here at the top. And then I'm going to grab the thread, right here. Here it is. And it's going to, there's actually lines here that make it really easy. It shows you exactly what to do. It's kind of hard. It's low quality, I know. But so we're going to grab the thread and bring it right over here under the loop. There's little arrows it shows you. Got it? Okay. And then once it's through there, we're going to bring it down, right down here, you see? Boom. Let me bring you around to the front. That probably would have been better. So now that we have it threaded right here, from here, it's going to go down here, right? And then next, I'm going to swoop it on over, down here, up. And then, as you can see, I got a little hook here. It's going to go right over that hook, or on that hook. So you hook it on the hook, bring it down. Beautiful. So the top is threaded now. So now I can get the bobbin, the little bobbin, and the bobbin is actually going to go down here. That's going to be, so this is our top thread, threading right here, and of course, obviously, this is the bottom, because when you're sewing, it's basically two threads interlocking, which makes what makes it strong. So this guy, this Kenmore machine, it makes it easy. Again, there's a little arrow here, kind of gives you an idea of where it's supposed to go. So you pop the little bobbin in there. You can't really see it, but there's a hook right here. And what I'm going to do is just follow the arrow. See the arrow? And then you hook it. Boom. Okay, so it looks like it's hooked there. And so now what I have to do, though, is before I thread the needle, the main needle here, I'm going to have to make sure my bobbin thread is pulled up. So let me see if I can actually set the camera so you can see what I'm doing. So, and let me turn the light on for this here. That would actually probably help to see better. Okay. So I have my top thread here, and what needs to happen is the the bobbin thread at the bottom has to come up through the main hole here, right in here. So I need to get this thread to come up through this hole. And how you're going to do that is you grab the top thread. Can you see? You grab the top thread, and then you are going to make sure you go to your little handle, which controls the needle, and you're going to pull that forward, pull it forward as you're holding this top thread outwards, kind of like that. So as you can see, the needle's coming down. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. So you do have to thread it first to catch it at the bottom. So let me thread it. So through the needle. So there, boom. So now it's through the needle. So once you got that, like just like that, then you can go ahead and move the handle upwards, or excuse me, forward towards you to bring the needle down, and as you're holding the top thread up. And what's supposed to happen is if you're doing it correctly, it grabs, you see? It just grabbed the bottom thread up through the hole. And so now I'm going to just get a pin and swoop it on through here. Okay, there. And so now I have my bobbin thread coming up, and my top thread is ready to go as well. So now I can pop this back on to cover it up. So now my machine is threaded. And I'm holding the camera like this so you can see it. I'm trying to figure out where I can put this so it's easier. But so that's that. So now that we have it threaded, it is ready to go. We can start sewing now. But before we do that, another thing. What I want to do is I actually want to pin the interfacing and I'm going to shut this off. I want to pin the interfacing and the fabric together. Even though it's fused already, I want to make sure it doesn't move or shift while I'm sewing, just in case there's any bits that I missed. Because I don't want to keep ironing and ironing again, but if I have to, I mean, obviously. But let's get our pins here. So we're going to be sewing around the perimeter of this. And then after we sew around the perimeter, we're going to sew the sides here to reinforce the sides. You can see, we're going to reinforce the sides. So I'm just pinning this. Making sure it's together. I'm going to get it looking on the front. I should be pinning it from the front because that's where the air bubbles will show through if there's any. So I should be pinning it this way. You see, it's kind of there's a little bump right here. I'm not really feeling. But I'll probably just iron that really quick in a second. Okay. Ooh, it's warm in here. I'm warm now. It's warm in my room. I'd open the window, but I feel like it's going to be way too much noise, and I think that there's already a buzzing, so I'll just leave it be. Okay. You see this right here? It's not fused all the way, you see? That's why I'm going to pin it. So that way it doesn't move when I'm sewing it. But you know what? Here, let me really quick move over here for a second. This bag's gonna be cool. I'm excited about this bag. TMNT. I actually used the same fabric to make a skirt. So I have a skirt already with this fabric. Pretty cool, pretty cool. It was originally a shirt, but I messed up, so I made it a skirt. Well, I didn't mess up. It was a shirt, and it looked really nice, but I had made it for my brother, and it didn't fit him. It was actually too small, which I thought it was actually pretty big, but it still didn't fit him. So, I instead of like, I tried to make it larger, but that didn't really work. So I ended up just telling him, hey man, I'm gonna make this into a skirt for myself. He didn't mind, but I do like this fabric. So I just ironed it a little bit more. Let me continue pinning so then we can sew it. And this is the back of our bag. This is the back piece. And another pin here. Let's pin it at the bottom. Okay, one more right here. Okay, boom. Okay, so we got it pinned. Interface is fused. So now we're ready to sew it. So it calls for, I believe it's 1/4 of an inch. So 1/4 of an inch. I think we're going to be sewing this in order. Let me see. Let me double check. I want to make sure I don't do half an inch and then it calls for. So yeah, 6 millimeters. So that's 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. 1/4 of an inch. So 6 millimeters. So let's bring our machine back. Let's get that set up. Well, it's already set up, so let me just get the camera in a position where you can actually see what I'm doing. Make sure my presser foot is in a good position. Let me just trim this. There we go. Oh, move that downwards. Okay, so let's see what would be best. Alright, let me see what I can do here so you guys can actually see what I'm working on. I wish I could have the camera above the table, but this will do, I think. Okay. How's that? Oh no, that doesn't look good either. Bear with me, I apologize about this. I wasn't really sure exactly how I would have the camera set up when sewing. That's like slowly shifting, isn't it? Here, let me move it. Will that do? Does that give me a little slack there? Yeah? I think that'll do for now. Next time maybe I'll find a better way to have it set up. So let me just move this interfacing out of the way. I have a bunch of stuff on my chair here, so let me just move that so I can actually work at the machine. These are for pattern pieces here. Move that. Okay, so awesome. We're getting there. We're getting there. We are rocking. Okay. Oh, and then I have. So yeah, I think for the rest of this, we'll make pockets for the inside. So it'll be cool. It'll be like, oh, you know, Ninja Turtles, and then you open the bag and you're like, oh shit, more Ninja Turtles. I'll just throw that there for now. Okay. So now we're situated here at the machine, I'm going to go ahead and start sewing. We're going to be sewing in 6 millimeters inwards, which is a quarter of an inch. So this machine's pretty cool. I'm assuming a lot of machines are like this. It has measurements here, so it makes it easy to know where to actually place your fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the bottom, and 6 millimeters is a quarter of an inch, so that would be right here, this line right here. It's not actually labeled, so I'm just going to make sure and double check that that is a quarter, and yeah, it is. Okay. So I already have my machine set up the way I wanted to have it set up. We're on a straight stitch, size 3 for the how big the stitch is. My tension is at about 4.5. I'm still kind of trying to test out tension thread. For some reason, I mean, it turns out well, but sometimes the tension is a little off, and I have to redo the stitch. So, but this is what my machine is currently at. So we're gonna put our our fabric right here, measure it. So what I do is I sew a little bit, and then I do a back stitch, which will encase and seal, like basically knot the end for me. That way I don't have to go in with a needle and knot everything. It's just already knotted. So I went forward, let's go back. So I'm going. So I want to look at my stitching really quick. I just want to make sure the tension's okay. So it's looking a little tight. So we're going to move the number upwards. I believe that's correct. That should be. As long as I've been sewing, for some reason I still forget which ways to loosen the thread and which ways to tighten the thread. So let me just take another gander here. That's looking a little bit better. So again, we're going in, sewing in 6 millimeters, quarter of an inch. See, I'm already not liking what's going on. I don't know if you can tell. It's not connected to the interfacing as it should be, so it's kind of making a little bubble. Ugh, I don't like that at all. But you know what? I'm just going to keep going, because this is, let me see. There we go. I think I even that out a bit. Yeah, you really want to make sure you iron it all the way. I'm just anxious to move forward because I want to just sew the thing, you know? Like, I'm excited, but you really want to make sure you iron that interfacing all the way, or it will be moving around when you're trying to just sew it on to the main fabric. Okay, so now I'm hitting a corner, so I'm going to make sure my needle is all the way through the thread. I'm going to pull up my foot. I'm just using a standard regular foot here. And I'm going to turn it. Then I can go upwards. Make sure that's 6 millimeters. It's a little bit off. Whoops, sorry. So I'm just going to sew a little bit, one more in. Okay. Okay, great. So now we're going to put our foot back down. And the same with this corner. Gonna turn at the corner, make sure it's still 6 millimeters, quarter of an inch. Let me see what's up with this tension thread. I think it's, looking okay. Okay, another corner. Turning 6 millimeters. Make sure I'm going to take this pin out because it'll get in the way of the needle if I left it in. Alright, another corner. Well, you know what to do. Let's turn it. We're turning. Okay, put it down. Okay. I'm going to take the pins out as I go for this side here. And then of course we're going to do the same thing to the other one, the other piece. Is that okay? Let me see. Move it over a little bit more. You can kind of see a little bit better what I'm working on here. But yeah, just connecting the interfacing to the, what is this, the back piece? Yeah, the back piece of the bag. Okay, so another corner. Gonna turn 6 millimeters, you said? Boom. Turn again. Boom. Whew. It's looking good so far. It's looking good. Okay. And this is our last corner. And we're going to reverse to seal, not the end there. Boom. Okay. So we just got that connected. Okay. So now we have that threaded, sewn together. Let me just move this down here. I just want to take the pins out really quickly. Sorry if this camera's a little off. There we go. Okay. So let me just take these pins out. So, of course, as I said, same thing. We're going to do the same thing with the other one. But first, what I want to do, I'm going to trim this first, actually. Let's trim this excess interfacing here. This white bit here, let's trim that, because we don't need it. There we go. Boom. Okay, so that's nice and trimmed. And since you're on it, let's trim this interfacing to the excess. And the excess. Okay. There's that bit. So now let's go ahead and do the other one. We got that one connected. We're going to go ahead and pin this together. Our interfacing is already fused on. We're going to pin it just so once I sew it doesn't move around or anything. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and reinforce the sides of both the back and the front. But really quickly, again, I want to make sure that there's no air bubbles on this, so I'm going to go ahead and sew it, or excuse me, I'm going to go ahead and iron it a little bit more just to double check and make sure that there's no air bubbles. See, look at, I'm glad I am. Look at, this is not even connected here. You guys see that? Come on, Athena, look. Okay, let's iron that, make sure it's connected, and then we're going to sew it. I gotta do it. I gotta do the ironing. It has to be done. I know it's boring, but it has to be done. But once we get the sewing on our bag, we already got all the pieces. Yeah, we got the front and the back, and then the top, and then we can make the pockets for the inside. Yeah, there's much more to be done, of course, but it's slowly taking shape. So let me just get this air bubble here. For our Ninja Turtles bag. It's gonna be pretty sweet. Okay, I think that's looking good. Oh, hold on, maybe not quite. Let's put some heat. The heat. Let's bring the heat. So I'm gonna let that sit for a second. Let me set up the machine. Put it back up here. Okay, put my presser foot. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, there you go. Put that there. Okay, so. Oh, duh, I have to pin this. That's okay. I'm gonna pin it right here since I already have my machine. It would be best to do it on a surface that isn't so squishy, like my ironing board. So, okay, so we're gonna go ahead and pin this again, just so the interfacing doesn't move when we sew it. Okay. This is our Turtle Power bag. And let me go ahead and shut my iron off. Don't want it on for no reason. Okay. And where's the rest of my pins? Here we go. So the inside lining is going to be black. We still need to cut those pieces. But the outside of the bag, we completely cut the outside of the bag already. We already got all the pieces, other than the handles and the zipper tabs. But that's going to be black canvas that I'm going to use. So we will get to that as well. But as far as the outside main body of the bag, this is it. We got the pieces cut. So let me just pin a little bit more down here before we sew. Looking good. Okay, so we got it pinned. This is the front of our bag. The zipper will go here. So I want to make sure that there's no air bubbles on this. I really want to make sure, because it won't look good if there is. So I got it pinned. Let me get the machine set up here. We already have it threaded, of course. Let's go ahead and set this up. Oops. I do want you to be able to see what I'm working on. There we go. It's moving just a bit, but that's okay. We'll go like that. Yeah, that looks okay. Okay, so we got that done. Set up nicely. Now we're ready to sew. And again, just real quick, making sure there's no air bubbles, because this is the front of the bag, so I don't want it to look bad. Okay. So, ready to start sewing? Let me get a sip real quick. Ooh, it's warm in here. Okay. So, we got our stuff set up. 6 millimeters, 1/4 inch we're going to be sewing, just like the other one. Exactly the same. And then we'll reinforce the corners about, oops, that will be a 1/4 in, or excuse me. We will reinforce the corners at 1/2 inch in. Sorry, my foot here is a little wonky. Let me move it like that. Okay, there we go. All right. So 6 millimeters. Boom. Beautiful. Okay. And we're gonna go ahead and do a reverse stitch to seal it. I wish I could have the camera a little bit closer, but I think that'll do. Yeah, you see this is not ironed on all the way. It's kind of bumpy a little bit. So that's the issue if you don't iron it all the way. I'm not too happy about that, but fuck it. I mean, I'm here, you know, like, I'm not happy about that at all. But that's okay, because I'm gonna sew it in I'm not liking this, but it's gonna be sewn. I'm gonna be sewing it. I'm sewing it right now 6 millimeters. It's gonna be sewn again at 1/2 inch, so it'll be covered, but the bump will be covered. But I don't like that. I hate that. I don't like that at all. It's bothering me. But I'm just gonna have to go over it. Okay, there it goes. I just sewed right over it. Okay. And just keep moving on. I mean, for the sake of kind of just making the stream move along, I don't want to be spent here ironing forever. But again, maybe next time I'll have all the pieces cut and ironed before. But I just want, that's boring though. I want you to be able to see the entire process, and the entire process includes a lot of cutting and a lot of ironing, so I don't think that's such a great idea to have it like defeats the purpose of being able to actually watch, you know, you make the bag from beginning to end. So we're at another corner. Let's bring it in another time. Okay. I'm gonna turn it 6 millimeters. Socks, can you get out of my closet? My cat's in my closet right now. That girl. I don't know. I don't want her in my stuff, but yo, girl. Socks, get out of there. Go. There you go. Okay. So another corner, we're going to turn it. Okay. So I won't be able to add the zippers because, like I said earlier, I don't have any zippers. I have to go get some. Because normally after I do this, the next thing I would do is I would attach the zipper to the front side of the bag. But since I don't have any zippers, I think the next thing that I will do after reinforcing the sides is I will go ahead and make the handles. I'll make the handles of the bag because once I make the handles, I actually can attach it to the back of the bag. Because since there's no zipper on the back side of the bag, I can attach the handles immediately. I don't have to wait till a zipper is attached. So I think I'm going to do that next. Either that or I'm going to sew on the interfacing to the top of the bag, which I already ironed on, because that needs to be sewn, I believe, 6 millimeters as well inwards, just to reinforce it. Okay. Whoops. Let's do it this way. A little bit more further than I need. There we go. Okay. And with sewing, it's there's a little tracking underneath the foot here that kind of it grabs the fabric for you, and it moves it forward on its own. So I'm not actually pushing the fabric forward or anything. I'm actually just making sure that the fabric is like facing the right way and that it's like held up. But the machine, I mean, that's the whole point of having a sewing machine. It does most of the work for you. So it's actually the one moving the fabric forward. I'm not doing that. It's the machine that's pulling it forward. So what I'm doing with my hands is I'm just making sure it's straight and it's feeding it in a direction I want it to go. So of course around corners you see me moving my hands more because I'm making sure that the thread is going around the corner. So here we go again. You see we have a little bump. I mean, you probably can't tell, but I have a little bump here. I don't like that if it was ironed on properly, but since it's at the very edge, you won't see it when I sew the pieces together, but it really shouldn't be like that. But that's another reason why you want to pin it, to reinforce the interfacing so it doesn't go slipping and sliding when you're ironing or when you're sewing it together. pin out of the way. Okay, another corner. Turning the fabric. Okay, let's move this pin as well. Oh man, I think I want to open my window. I'm warm in here. It's pretty warm. But I feel like there's going to be more noise if I do. I'll deal with it. It's fine. It's hotter in other places and people are doing just fine. Okay. Another corner. That's not quite 6 millimeters, so I'm going to bring the needle forward a little more. That'll do, I think. There we go. And our last corner. And reverse stitch to seal it. Boom, beautiful. So before I move away, let's just go ahead and reinforce the sides here. I'm going to reinforce this side right here. This side's going to be reinforced, and this side's going to be reinforced, and then we're going to do the same to the other piece. And it's going to go in, I believe it's 1/2 inch inwards. So that is what we will do. So 1/2 inch is like right there. That's 1/2 inch. Because I'm using the measurements down here on the machine. 1/2 inch. Back stitch, go forward, stop, turn, whoops, got caught on a pin. And then, that's not really what I'm like, I'm not liking that. We're gonna move it a little bit more forward, okay? And then, another 1/2 inch. Okay, I think that's good. Later, when I'm attaching these pieces together, if this side, if it ends up being shown as thread, like if you can see it, I can just rip it out later, because it's really just to reinforce it until I connect it all together. So yeah. So if it's not quite 1/2 inch and it's exposed and that you can see it, then I can just always unravel it, and that'll be fine. You can just leave it like that. So again, we're going to do the same to the other side. We're going to reinforce it 1/2 inch inwards. Okay. Okay. So we did that. Now the next thing I'm going to do though, 1 second here, is we reinforce the sides right here, this side, this side. Now we're going to clip to that reinforcement I just made. We're going to clip it. And this clip, this cut will make it easier for this side and this side to connect to the top of the bag piece. It'll make it easier, make it more flexible. So that's why we reinforced the corners. So I could go ahead and make a little snip here And it's okay, I'm going to be cutting through the thread. I'm going to be cutting through the thread that I made the 6mm stitch, but that's fine. It doesn't matter. You're meant to do that. So you're going to cut right on through. There you go, you see? So now this makes it more easier and flexible to connect the top of the bag to it. So I'm going to do the same to the other side. I'm going to clip it to the reinforcement stitch that I made. But let me just get rid of these pins really quickly. Let me put them over here. And we will go ahead and do the same to the other piece, which is the back piece. This is the front piece of our bag, because this is where our zipper will go. Okay. Yeah, it's a little bumpy here. I don't like that at all. I hate that. I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. But I'll iron it a little bit more, and once it's connected to the other side, or excuse me, to the other piece, you shouldn't really see that bump since it's all the way at the bottom, but you don't want that to happen. That's not what you want to happen, which is why you need to iron, 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 iron. So we're going to do the same to this side. I don't know if you can see it very well. We're just going to clip it. Let me just clip it and we'll get started on the other one, the other side, the other piece. So clip it, boom. So that makes it easy to move about when we connect at the top. Okay. So I'm not going to move the camera because before I iron this a second, I'm just going to go ahead and do the other piece. Let me just grab it. So we already sewed around this perimeter of this one. We're just going to go ahead and do the reinforcement stitch and then do the cut to clip it on the sides. So let me bring my machine back this way so you can see it. There you go. Okay. So we're reinforcing the sides. And that's going to be a 1/2 inch inward. And a back stitch to close it. Another 1/2 inch on this side. Looks good. We're going to do our clip right here. Right through the original. That wasn't quite in the middle, that cut, but that's okay. Well, it'll be fine. And this one as well. That's 1/2 inch in. Reverse stitch, turn, and a 1/2 inch, and reverse stitch to reinforce. So now we're going to clip it. Going to clip it here. Beautiful. So we got our cut, our clip. So we have the front and back ready to go. Well, except of course I have to still attach the zipper, but I can't do that. I don't have any zippers. So for now, let me go ahead and move this here. Okay, so I believe the next thing I'm gonna want to do, there's a couple of things I can do next, because of course there's no like particular order you really need to do any of this in, but I did want to iron this, and I did mention I wanted to make the handles next, so you can either do that, or I can stitch this, which is our top. Let me just double check something here. I want to see, yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to cut some more pieces out. I'm going to cut some more pieces I'm going to cut the pocket, the front pocket, and I'm going to cut the inside pockets. And I think at this time, besides maybe sewing this on, oh, you know what? I can make the pocket because I don't need to attach the zipper just yet. Okay, this is exciting. So maybe I can do that next. So let's do that next. Um, well, first I need to cut the pocket pieces though. So let me do that. I'm gonna unplug this for now. Actually, let me just move it over here. We won't move it over here. Okay. So let me just iron this a second here, just so it's nice and fused on, and no air bubbles. And then we're gonna do the pocket next. We're gonna cut the pieces for the pockets next. So let me go over here and grab our pattern. This will be for the inside pockets. This one's ripped, so let me use the other one. I made 2 of these, so here we go. So this is gonna be the inside of the pockets. I think I'm gonna do 7. We'll do 7 inside pockets because that's usually what it calls for. I mean, I don't have to. I can do more or less, but I'll just do 7. I mean, I don't have to decide right now. I can always make my mind up later down the road because no matter how many pockets you make, it's still going to be the same size or the same pattern. So, oh my goodness, yeah, I do that all the time. That's not good. That's how you burn the house down, leaving your iron on your fabric for too long. No, knock on wood, I've never done that. I've never burned anything down, so that's a good thing. So, I need to find the other pattern. Oh, here it is. So this pattern is going to be the inside pattern, the pocket for the inside pocket, or excuse me, this pattern is for the outside pocket. That's going to be on the front of the bag. So we will go ahead and cut our pieces for that. I'm going to move these for now and set them aside. We don't need them right now. And I'll put them here. And this is looking pretty good. Okay, so this pocket we're gonna make it black because it's you won't see this pocket really. You know, you only see the lining of the pocket, so we're gonna make it black. This, however, this is like the front of this will be the front of the pockets on the inside. So we're gonna make it the Ninja Turtle fabric. It's kind of fun. Same fabric on the inside or on the outside as it is on the inside. So nice little surprise when you open it. So let me get the Ninja Turtle fabric. We have it right here. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Turtle Power. It should say Pizza Power. Because it says Turtles here already. It should say Pizza Power because of pizza, but whatever. So, let me make sure I have enough fabric here. Because ideally, I want the fabric to be facing the same way as the outside fabric. So that way, you know, there's like consistency with where the fabric is facing, which way it's facing. So it looks like this one, it looks like Michelangelo, or excuse me, yeah, Michelangelo's upside down. So it's going to be this way. Let me see if I even have enough. I don't think I'm going to have enough fabric to do it this way. See, that's the thing, like, you really should get more, I mean, that pattern, it tells you, like, if you buy a store-bought pattern, it tells you how much fabric you'll need. Because, I mean, yeah, I could do it this way, but I guess I could do it this way, but then I won't be facing the same way as the outside pattern, and I don't really like that. That's doesn't really look that great. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have the outside, shucks, let me see, will this fit here? Like barely, like it barely fits. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. Okay, so my pockets are, there's going to be 4 pockets on one side, and on the inside, and 3 pockets on the other side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make one side pocket the Ninja Turtle fabric, and then the other side will have the black canvas. That's what I'm going to have to do because I don't really have a choice, because I want the fabric to be facing the same way as it is on the outside, because if it doesn't, it's going to look like crap. Like, it's just going to look like shit. I mean, this looks great. I'm excited. This is looking really good, this piece here. Okay, so I'm going to move that. Actually, I guess I could just leave that there for now. So let me just cut this. See, normally I would be cutting, I could just do it that way. I don't know. Should I have it facing the same way, or should I just say fuck it and have it facing the wrong way? I'm going to have it facing the same way. I'm going to have it facing the same way. So I'm going to cut one piece here, and then we're going to move on to the black canvas, and we're going to start cutting out of that. Yeah, I don't have a choice. This is how it's going to be done. So, I mean, I do have choices. I could just make it all black. But that's not as fun. I want to, like, kind of make it unique and, like, kind of custom. And if I can use, I mean, this is the last of this fabric that I have, so I would really like to use it all for this project. So let's just do it. We're just going to do it. So technically, I'm supposed to be cutting this on a fold, but again, since I don't have enough fabric, Turtle Power fabric, we're just going to cut one side of it. The other side is going to be black canvas. So that's what we're going to do. So let's cut it. Let's get it done. Probably matching up nicely. Okay. Bring it down a little bit further. I'm just making sure I have enough room on each side. Like, I know I haven't started cutting it. I'm just, you just deal with what you got. Like, I could have bought more fabric, but I don't. I only have a yard of this. And I just started this bag right now today, so. I do need to go to the store and get zippers anyway, but, I'm just gonna work with what I have. There we go. A little bit better. Okay, and then let's get this side here. You see it's kind of like a little off. The fabric doesn't extend all the way. But I'm going to be sewing it in a 1/2 inch, which is where this dot is. I don't know if you can tell. So I have just enough fabric to do that. So I'm still going to make it work. It's going to work even though it's not like the entirety of this pattern. Oops, the entirety of this pattern, but that's okay. We'll get it to work. Sweet. Move that fabric to the side. So you see there's a little bit cornered here. It's kind of cut off here. I don't know if you can tell. Let me move this a little bit further up. Does that help? It's cut off right here a little bit, and the selvage is showing here. But that's okay because I'm gonna be sewing in 1/2 inch, like I said, and this is about 1/2 inch. So I'm literally gonna be sewing like boop, right on the line. So it won't be exposed. You won't see it. But there we go. So now that inside pocket is gonna be matching up to the outside lining. It's all going the same way, so it won't look funky when you open it. Okay. I'm gonna sit here. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna cut the other piece, which is gonna be black canvas. So let me get that right here. I have my black canvas. This is really sturdy stuff. We'll use this for the lining too. Okay, so this is my selvage here on this side. This is my selvage. This is my start of my grain line, which the grain line goes this way because this is the way the thread is threaded. So when it was on the, what do you call it, the spool or the main big threading, when you're making a piece of making textiles. Oh, the loom. There you go. I was like, what's the word? Loom. When it's on the loom, I believe I'm correct in saying this, that it's feeding. It would be connected up top this way, and then it would be like being made downward like this. So we know where our grain line and our selvage is. For the pocket, it didn't call for which way the grain line and the selvage went on the pattern. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut it on the grain line anyway though. So we'll do it like this. Okay, like that. Oops. See, it's really heavy, so I want to make sure the fabric's heavy because there's a lot of it I'm cutting off of. Okay, we'll leave it like that. Okay. Oops. Make sure it's cut all the way. There we go. Okay. So that's that. We got that piece done. But we're gonna keep this here because we actually are gonna be cutting out another piece because what's going on here is now. Oh, where did I put the other piece of the pocket? Oh, where did I misplaced it? Where did it go? Oh, it looks like my stream is, it stopped. Let me see if I can, change the resolution here. Okay, so I'm having a little technical difficulties with the stream. I think at this point I'm going to stop and call it a day. I will be back again, maybe tomorrow. I'll do it again at 1:30. But at this time it looks like my stream isn't working properly. Let me see. Yeah, we're going to stop this here and I will come back probably tomorrow. Thank you for watching if you were watching.